All four overs hit on Wednesday night. What will happen tonight in the NHL, and will the scoring continue? We'll find out here on Puck Time as we break down four games for you, as well as best bets, or including best bets. Also, guys, I have some props for you, and I really like these, and two of them are plus money. Andrew, Carmine, and Brian Leonard, all found, of course, at WagerTalk.com. Looking forward to jumping into these games. Carm, good morning to you. And what are the games we're breaking down here today?
Good morning, Andrew. Yeah, some exciting games yesterday. We'll get to that after I give you guys an update on what we're doing today. We're going to cover the Canucks and Florida tonight, New Jersey and Ottawa. Andrew's going to have his props. If he likes his props, and yesterday he didn't have many and still did unbelievably well, and he likes tonight's, then you must be writing these down and tuning in each and every day for this prop segment. And then we got the New York Rangers at Little Caesars tonight. Are they going to feast on some pizza and the Detroit Red Wings? You'll find out later on in the show with our guest, Bryan Leonard, as he brings the numbers as he always does. And we're looking forward to get going. So, Bri, I'm going to cue it up right away. I'm going to go to you first on this first game, Vancouver and Florida. The line, it looks like the total took a bit of a drop from 6 to 5.5 right now overnight. Bobrovsky confirmed for Florida, Lankinen, the probable starter for Vancouver. How are you playing this one?
Well, we got two teams that I really like this year. Unfortunately, the defending champs, as we talked about last time I was on here, they're playing a little bit shorthanded right now. Two of their key players are out, one because of illness and one because of injury. Vancouver has yet to taste a victory after facing Calgary, Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay. Florida enters play at 3-2, but they've been outscored on the season. This is their third game in 4 days after winning at Boston and Columbus, and two very emotional games for the hosts. If you look at, I like to look at MoneyPuck.com, and they had Columbus completely outplaying Florida in that game, and they just couldn't get it done. But unfortunately, this is basically a pick'em game, and I just don't see any value in this one. I like both these teams. I wish Florida was playing full strength. They're not. What can you do? If they were, the line was going to be a little bit different. So out of the games we're going to be discussing today, this is probably the one that I have the least amount on. I like both teams, but the line keeps me away from it.
And I can see that, Brian. I can definitely see that because, these games are, some of these games here today on tap on a Thursday are tight. We got some tight matchups here. And I'll tell you what, in large part, what I'm trying to stay away from this year, Brian, and I found that over the last few years, something that kind of hurt my handicap was, instead of riding the hot teams, I found myself trying to pick when a bad team was going to get going too many times. You know what I mean? It's like that old saying, like, a streak can keep on going as much as it wants, but it can only be broken once. So who are we to try and figure out when that is going to be broken? But with all that being said, give me Vancouver today. Give me Vancouver. With all of that being said, I do like the Canucks. I just think that this is a good spot. I mean, you teed it up perfectly, Brian, with kind of the emotional games for the Florida Panthers recently. No Barkov, no Tkachuk. And here's the thing with Vancouver compared to some of the other teams in the West, like Nashville and Edmonton and Colorado that were struggling. If you look at Vancouver, first of all, in their losses, they weren't really embarrassed, right, guys? They weren't really, they didn't get shown up by any means. In fact, they had two of the games where they picked up the pity points, as I like to call it, a loss in a shootout and a loss in overtime. So you still get some points, albeit you don't come out with the victory. So, even though we have one team being the road team, there's a lot of situations, guys, where you find that sometimes the road team is in a better spot than the home team. And I kind of feel like that's the situation we have here. And to Brian's point about Florida, you look at their goals for versus goals allowed, they're giving up some goals. They've been in some higher scoring games. And one thing I will stand on is the fact that Vancouver has three lines that can score. Vancouver has a good power play. And, their last outing wasn't strong whatsoever. They didn't look good. And that matchup they had against Tampa, they just got off to a really, really bad start. And how about Tampa, guys? Everybody was writing that team off saying they're done in this division. Well, so far, they're looking pretty good in the Atlantic. But, Carmine, I like Vancouver tonight. I'm trying to stay away from, betting these teams that haven't won a game yet. But to me, it's a little bit of a different story in Vancouver. So give me the Canucks tonight. Minus 105 is the price.
Yeah, I'm not getting high on any team. I'm not getting down on any team. Obviously, you're going to get upset when your team you bet on that you expect to win loses. I see the comments sometimes in chat like the Oilers are trash, or Colorado are dead to me. It's a week into the season, 9 days or whatever, 10 days into the season. These things they're going to happen, but ask yourself the question: are these teams going to make the playoffs? The Edmonton Oilers, the Colorado Avalanche, and the answer is yes. So they're going to start to win. You have to find that that trajectory of when they're going to start to do it and jump on it. I thought the Oilers would get the win against Philadelphia. They left it late, and they win it in OT, but they got the win and they hit the road. It's going to happen with Vancouver at some point. This was a very good team last year. I talked about the Sabres yesterday. I had a play on the Sabres. I went 1-1 with my client plays. The 4% won, the 3%. The Sabres plus money didn't. They missed 3 breakaways after Jari came out of the game. They put Blomqvist in net, and he played fantastic. Sabres 3 breakaways, couldn't score. They could have put that game away when they had a chance, but on the show, I gave out the first period as well too, and that cash, and that's why I'm looking here. I think there is some value in if you look at it's a short sample size for this season. They're 1-1 in first periods. The Vancouver Canucks, a win, a loss, and a push. But if you look at last season, they were a very good team in the opening 20 minutes of a game. Combined home and away last year, they were 40 wins, 22 losses. 33 times they were tied, plus 15.75 units for a 12.36 ROI on your money. If you just flat bet them in the first period money line, and it's only minus 110 here. So that stat has even more value at minus 110 than lines that they're normally at. How does that translate when they were on the road last year? 19 wins, 10 losses, 18 times they were tied after 20 minutes, 9.45 units. So a greater part of their profit last year in the first period came on the road, 16.68 ROI. I'm taking the Vancouver Canucks in the first period of this one. Maybe a little fortunate because, as Brian mentioned, a couple guys out for Florida. This team is still a very good team, and it's the next man up sort of mentality. But the Canucks are in search of a win. A strong opening 20 minutes would go a long way to getting there. So give me the Vancouver Canucks first period, minus 110.
Geez, Brian, I don't know if Carm has a lot of late dinner plans these days, but he's been loving these first period plays these days. Just cash the tickets in 20 minutes and move on. Don't have to watch any more of that game. Not a bad thing, He's sweating out 20 minutes of hockey, and you can cash that ticket and enjoy your meal, I guess. But it's going to be a good game. I am looking forward to that game, guys, and hopefully it's a good one. Sounds like the three of us do think that, but we're leaning towards, hopefully, the road team in a couple different ways. Guys, if you're enjoying these videos every day on WagerTalk TV, slap the crap out of that like button for us. Show some love, subscribe to the channel, and as I always say, we want to beat Prez and Teddy on likes on PuckTime. You guys love the show. Get more likes on our show than WagerTalk today. That will do us a big favor. We really appreciate that. And always comment to let us know what you are betting. We want to know. We want to know what you guys are thinking about tonight's card, and it's a big slate in the NHL. And, of course, you can find Brian. You can find Carm and myself over at WagerTalk. And the last time that Brian was on with us, he had a big 5% baseball play going that night. Crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. So make sure you find all of us over at WagerTalk, not just hockey, all kinds of plays over there as well. Let's keep this train on the tracks. Go back to you, Carm, and we're going to talk about the Devils and the Senators. Well, the last game for the Senators, it wasn't first to 4 wins. It wasn't first to 5, wasn't first to 6 or 7. It was first to 8 goals won that game. How do you see this one going with the Senators?
Yeah, it's you can play the type of defense that Ottawa's playing right now, but again, Andrew, it's so early in the season, and this is why I say to you guys sometimes tread with. I know I sound like a broken record, but tread lightly in the first week to 2 weeks of the NHL season because these teams are eventually going to come together. The players are going to come together. They're going to get in sync. The power plays are going to get better. Look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. A case in point yesterday, they get a couple of power play goals after going like 0 for 9 or 0 for 10 on the power play. Ottawa's going to be a good team this season. They were supposed to be a good team last season and make the playoffs. They didn't. They beefed up a little bit this year. Brought some guys in, better goaltending. We'll see. We'll see what Ottawa has, but right now they're just not playing well. I don't think they're playing well. They beat the LA Kings 8-7. Congratulations. You allowed 7 goals still in that game. I think the Devils are a good team. I think the Devils, having started early and having played in Prague, those 2 games against the Sabres and coming back, their 2 losses were competitive losses. They're still losses. You don't get paid for them. But they played the Leafs, who are playing quite possibly the best hockey in the NHL right now. And they lost to Carolina in Carolina. And the Canes don't normally lose a lot of games at home either. So a couple of tough ones for them. It's a bit of a downgrade here in the sense of they're playing Ottawa, a team that I think they should handle. I'm taking the Devils in this one. You're laying minus 130. Markstrom's probable. Forsberg's probable. Goalies haven't been confirmed. But even with these 2 goalies, I like the Devils here. I think they get back into the win column. And of course, a guy like Sheldon Keefe, who, as part of the Maple Leafs over the last few years, has faced this Ottawa team. He knows what's waiting for the team there. He'll have his team prepared. The Devils, short price favorite at minus 130 is the bet for me. Bryan, can you talk me off this play, or are you going in a different route?
Get some noises a minute ago. Every show I do with the cat and the people that are watching enough shows, especially for baseball, my cat loves underdogs. And it was sitting on my lap through the first game, didn't say a word, jumps off. Now, as soon as we start talking about Ottawa, the cat starts going nuts. So that tells me that my original opinion on this game is probably right, and that's on Ottawa. The Devils look to be a bet on team this year, and I think they're a very good team. And they've gotten out to a nice 4-2 start. The losses have come against their toughest competition. They have faced Toronto and Carolina, but this is their 3rd game in 4 days, all in different cities. And if you take a look at what they've done recently against Ottawa, they split the last 4 visits here. Ottawa hasn't been that good lately, so I think we've got a nice spot here to play on Ottawa. The Sens are off that crazy 8-7 game, as Andrew talked about, overtime against the Kings. And they've had at least 2 days off without traveling. So they're in the much better scheduling situation here. And when I look at the expected goal share for these teams so far this season, they've both been pretty good. The Devils are at 51.89, Senators at 51.39. I prefer the host based on the scheduling situation, but I was hoping to get 120. The best I'm seeing on the WagerTalk line service right now is plus 118. So I haven't added this yet, but we're getting close. If I can get just a couple more cents here, I'm going to be on Ottawa. And the reason why I make such a big deal about the lines on these games is you've got to be able to set yourself up. Before the show started, Carmine and I talked about Toronto from yesterday. I liked Toronto on the overnight, and then I just got priced out of it as the day went on. And of course, Toronto won. But if I can lay a 160 on a game and all of a sudden I got to lay a 180, that's the difference at the end of the season from winning and losing. So you've got to be very sensitive to these line moves. I like the Senators here. They'll probably make my card, but I need to get a 120 to get that done.
It's definitely makes sense, Bryan, and that's again something that we need to all consider. And if you're betting every single day, and if you're watching us every day on PuckTime, if you're someone that enjoys betting hockey, it's not just about, hey, I like this team today. It's about how I'm going to bet them, the price that I'm going to bet them. And that's why, if you guys notice, for me, it's when I bet a lot of team totals, I'm not just betting them when it's a minus 250 and I'm trying to get it down to a better price. It's trying to find specific ways that I want to target certain teams and how I feel like they're going to be able to do the best for me. And like Brian mentioned, sometimes you might not like a money line. You might not like the first period play on a certain team, and it can in fact impact it, because it all does add up. And, Brian, we always talk about, if you go 1-1 tonight, but you went 1-1 on minus 140 picks, you didn't do very well. If you went 1-1 on plus 140 picks, geez, yeah, not a bad night. People should be happy about that. So the price certainly does matter. A little bit of a different, I'm going to do a little bit of a different page here with this one. I like New Jersey in the first period, so I guess Ottawa could definitely pull it out in the full game. But I think that maybe that fatigue factor that Brian's speaking about could set in, as the game moves on. We might get a real good opening effort from the Devils, but they could gas out later in the game. But I'm going to be honest, guys, I think that this Ottawa Senators team is going to be clear as day. When Allmark is in, they're going to have a chance to win a low-scoring game. When he's not in, it's going to be a shootout, and it might look more like a baseball score out there. And that's just the fact. The drop-off and the level of goaltending from their number one ranked goalie to their number 2 and number 3 is about as big as it gets in the National Hockey League right now. I truly believe that. And I think that you can tell by one goalie making $8.25 million and the next goalie making probably, $1 or $2 million. And that's a big difference, obviously, in goaltending salaries. So, and I look at the Devils, it's been a busy schedule for them. I faded them in my first 5% play of the year, taking Carolina, and the Devils looked flat. They looked tired. It wasn't a great game for them. As Carmine mentioned, Sheldon Keefe, the coach, knows this Ottawa team. And I think this Devils team is going to be a really good bounce back team, a good team at responding after poor outings. So I'll go first period on the New Jersey Devils. So it sounds like all three of us kind of looking at this game a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think we are, Andrew. We're going to do that early in the season. To Brian's point, and I understand both you guys sort of discussing, the travel for New Jersey, 3 and 4 nights. I sort of go by the book that I think early in the season, as you're getting your legs, it may be a factor, but I think, these are well-tuned athletes. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's more of a problem as travel kicks in later on or mid-season or what have you. I gave clients, Andrew, before I go to your prop section, I gave clients preseason, the guys who bought the NHL package preseason for the full season. I gave them a couple prop bets on this New Jersey team, over 1.5, over 100 and 1.5 points, because they're going to be an improved team. They're a healthy team. And with a healthy team, you have you have more guys on the bench. You have more guys you can put on the bench should you need to plug guys in now, make guys healthy scratches. And then Sheldon Keefe. He was despised here in Toronto because they couldn't win a playoff game or a playoff series, only once making it out of the first round with him. But he's a very good coach. He'll get the most out of this New Jersey team. But the NHL, and this is one of the reasons why I liked this, the points play, the NHL did the New Jersey Devils a favor. Their schedule for this year, before we turn the clock to 2025, is a travel-friendly one. There's going to be some back-to-backs. There's going to be 3 and 4 nights, but a lot of East Coast games. The only time in which they go to the West Coast is at the end of October, where they go to Vancouver and then they come back to Alberta to play the Alberta double against Edmonton and Calgary, and then they head back home for a home game. So travel-wise, they're not doing those trips to the second half of the season. If you're looking to fade them travel-wise, I think the second half of the season there's going to be spots available. But for the most part, I think they're going to be a bet-on team for the rest of 2024 for me, just because of their travel. It's East Coast stuff. They played in Carolina. You look at the games that they've played thus far, other than Prague coming back, they've stayed on the East Coast. So with that said, coming into Canada, Forsberg is now confirmed for the Ottawa Senators. And guys, if you aren't watching, our live lines or you aren't utilizing it, it is like a sauna today. There are lines that are steaming. You need to go to our live lines. It is absolutely free. Click on live lines, NHL, and watch the colors. It's like a rainbow of colors right now. There are games that are steaming. It'll give you a little indication maybe of where the money is coming in. With that said, and I'm talking about money, Andrew, your props have been money, man. So give us three, a couple plus money ones. I like them. Let's cash. Let's hear it.
Yeah, no pressure today after the day yesterday. I said I didn't like any, and we ended up having a good day. But guys, time for the prop playbook. I have 3 props to mention. 2 of them are plus money. Really quick, guys, that promo code is still active for the rest of the week. Save 50. We'll take $50 off a 30-day NHL pass. Save 50. We're up 21 units now on the young season. Cashed a winner last night, 3%. 11-4 is the record on the season so far. So it's going really well. If you want to join me for my favorite plays of the day, save 50. We'll take $50 off a 30-day NHL package. Let's start things off with Timo Meier from the New Jersey Devils. They're off that loss against the Carolina Hurricanes. I think the Devils will respond here in this one, and I think he's a big part of it by going over 3.5 shots. He has at least 3 shots in 4 of his last 5 games. One of those, he had 8 shots. One of the games, he had 9 shot attempts. This is a game that he's going to be really involved in. Ottawa takes a ton of penalties. Timo Meier will be out there on the power play. I feel like this is a great price for a guy that definitely has the green light to shoot the puck a ton every single game. Let's jump into an under. Haven't taken that many unders on this segment. I had a guy say, hey, man, do you take any unders with props? Yes, we do. Noah Dobson will not record a point. Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders. I think he will not get a point tonight. He had 2 points in the last game, but the first 2 games he was not on the scoreboard. And overall, guys, I don't expect this Islanders team to be a very high-scoring team whatsoever. They're playing the Blues tonight, and the Blues are fresh off a tough loss against Minnesota. I expect a lot of defense in that game. And if there's a lot of defense, there won't be many goals in the first place, let alone a defenseman for the New York Islanders getting a goal. So we'll take Noah Dobson to not record a point. And the last one, man, I love this price here. Jordan Eberle from the Seattle Kraken at plus 110 to record a point. Jordan Eberle named captain of this Kraken team. And don't look now. The Kraken are scoring goals, guys. The Kraken have been on the board, putting up goals in bunches, and you're going to give me a second-line guy against the Philadelphia Flyers, continuing their road trip to get just a point at plus 110. Sign me up for this team. It's a very good spot for the Kraken to get the job done, which means it's a good job or good spot for Jordan Eberle to get the job done for us. 3 props, guys, and some good plus money on those as well. All right, Carm, back to you for our last game of the day.
Yeah, Andrew, good luck on those plays. Last game, this last game is like me sitting down at Pizza Rock in Vegas with Brian Leonard and Las Vegas Chris, and arguing over what's better, a New York slice or a Detroit deep dish. And this is what we have here. We have the New York Rangers, Detroit, minus 150 on the Rangers. Detroit at home, you're getting plus 130 on it, and it just seems so attractive, that line. And yet I want no part of it, because I have said, and Johnny, if you're watching this, I apologize to you, but I have said that the New York Rangers are going to be a buy-on team for me early on, because this is a team, they just play well together. Even early in the season, they seem like they're in sync already. Very good team. A little bit of movement. It opened at 140. It's at 150 right now. Some of the live lines, and I talked about some of these numbers steaming. I'm seeing some books right now at minus 155 on them as well too. I like the Rangers in this spot, and I'm going to go to Brian for his thoughts. So give me the Rangers tonight in this one.
Yeah, this is a quick revenge game for the Red Wings, who dropped a 4-1 decision to New York on Monday. Detroit comes in with a 1-2 record, with the only victory in the building coming against the winless Predators. I do have some concerns about Detroit right now. Nashville made some big changes in the offseason, and they're still learning how to play together. And with that being your only victory of the season, it is concerning. In fact, Detroit's other 2 games that they've lost were both by 3 goals. So I don't think they're playing that well right now. And if you take a look at the expected goals, the expected goal share on the season, we've got the Rangers at 61.78, which is very impressive. Detroit only 44.39. In fact, if you take a look at the schedule here of what they've done the last 9 meetings, the Rangers have won 7 of the last 9, so they play very confident going up against this Detroit team. I lean with the Rangers here, but like you talked about when you were talking about the minus 140 and it's been bet up, it's bet out of my price range right now. I'm hoping to get some money coming on Detroit so we can get that back under the 150 again, and that would be a quality bet for me with the Rangers. The Rangers, to me, are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and when you've got that situation, you're going to have to pay a little bit more for it. Detroit's a team that has some talent on it, but I don't think they're playing very well right now. So I like the Rangers, but I'm going to hold off on this bet, and hopefully we can get it at a better number as the day goes on.
Bryan, I just want to follow that up, just to get your thoughts sometimes on, I know the late great, excuse me, the late great Dave Koken used to talk about, he wanted to know who the goalies were before a game. So, you're looking at right now, Cam Talbot is confirmed for the Detroit Red Wings. It's looking right now, I haven't gotten any news otherwise from the morning skate, but it looks like it's Jonathan Quick in for the Rangers and not Igor Shesterkin. If Quick is confirmed as a starting goalie, I would think at that point, maybe you get some buyback on Detroit and you get a favorable number. Quick is still a very good goalie. I am not saying it is a complete downgrade. Quick is a very good goalie, and he was last year, especially early on for the New York Rangers. But you think that price comes back a bit?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It will. We're giving these, keep in mind for everybody out there, we're giving these plays out at, right now it's 8:33 Pacific. So as the day goes on, we will see line changes. We will see guys that aren't going to play, and it's going to make a difference into the line. What we are basing it on is what is going on right now, what we expect to happen from a goalie standpoint. So keep in mind, we may like a game now, but if the goalie situation comes out and it's not what we're looking for, we probably won't play it. So we're going off the information that's available to us right now. So we may talk that we like a team here, and then as the day goes on, we may just not play that game because we're just losing value on it.
And I will tell people that there's great websites like you can use Daily Faceoff, you can use Left Wing Lock, Goalie Posts, you can use so many great ones out there to look at some of these lineups and try and make sure that you got the right guys out there, right goalies out there. But in my opinion, the best thing you can do is find beat writers. I know a lot of people say this, especially for college sports, but if you can find writers that are out there at morning practices, at the morning skates, it's the best, because that way those are the people that are giving the information to those websites anyway. So if you can skip the middleman and just go right to the first person and figure out kind of what they're saying and let you know who the line rushes are in the morning and the goalies, usually the first goalie off the ice is the goalie that's starting that night. So if you guys use Twitter, I'd recommend kind of just trying to find some local writers for each team. Guys, short and simple. I don't love this game by any means, but something I've always done is if the first meeting between two teams goes under, I play the over and vice versa. And I also think this Red Wings team is going to be a little bit of a good performance one night, top performance the other night, but they are going to be a good home team. So I'm going to rock with the over in this game here. I think we're going to see some goals. I think that, you see a Red Wings team that just looked flat in that last outing. We're going to see some more goals from them, but ultimately, guys, the only thing I really don't like about what Stevie Y has done with this team is the defensive core. I don't trust it. I think they're slow. And I think a lot of these guys are going to get caught and get burnt by some great offensive weapons like what the Rangers have. So it's 6.5. I have no problem seeing this game reach at least the 7-goal mark. And quite frankly, I don't know who wins this game. So no team totals, no money lines for me. We'll go right with just the full game over and look for some goals in the second game between these two teams and in only a handful of days. So I'll go with the over here, guys. And we can go around the horn for best bets. And Carm, I see you leaning forward, brother. So it's all you, man. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Bryan, we got to go to you. It's
I'm here.
He wants
You
to
can
play
still go
it
to
so
me.
bad.
This, the scheduling is the scheduling during the week. My wife has to go into the office twice a week. This new hybrid thing, and a new pet in the house, and it's just chirping like crazy during the show. Maybe it doesn't like my opinion, or maybe it's like my wife chirping at me. But with that said, Andrew, you not taking a side in this game is like you're like Switzerland, man. You're being neutral. You trying not to piss off Johnny Detroit, Melissa, Missy, Kyle, Lexi, and Chris. Come on, man. Give us a side. But I'm not going to press you to it, because if you're not betting it yourself, I know you're not going to release one.
You know what? And the funny thing is, I don't want to piss them off, and I want to go see a Habs and Red Wings game, but it keeps falling on weird days. Like this year, it's like December 20th and 21st, and I'm not really sure I want to be flying to Detroit on December 20th. I think I might have a little more holiday plans going on here in my hometown,
Well,
so might have to wait till
you're
next
going
year
to.
for me to go to Detroit to see a game.
Well, I know we got to wrap it up soon. We're going to do the best bets. You're going to miss a good one. Johnny Detroit is coming in with his beautiful wife the second week of November. I think November 8th and November 9th. The Detroit Red Wings are in town playing Friday night against the Leafs. Our good friend Rob Braley. Rob, if you're watching this one, call me. I think he's working on getting half of a box. His friend has a box to the game, so Johnny can watch the game the way it should be watched, with a glass of beer or wine in his hand, watching the Wings roll over the Leafs, and having a good time. And then we'll have some dinner afterwards. With that said, Brian, I'm going to go to you first. What do you got going up at WagerTalk? And give us a show best bet, please.
Oh, you're gonna let me promote myself today? Well, that's awful nice of you.
Yes.
Last time we were on, as Andrew pointed out, we just got caught up in the moment, and nobody could promote what they had going on. But yeah, Yankees were good to us that day. I do have a 4% play in hockey going tonight. We won 4 straight hockey plays, number 1 lifetime in net profit at WagerTalk in the NHL. And all 4 of those winners were underdogs. So we've had a really profitable week, and we're looking to cash number 5 today. That plays up there right now. It's a nice 4% play. I also have a free play up on one of the baseball games for today. I'm going to take a look at this Buffalo-Columbus game for my best bet on the show. The Sabres are 1-3-1 on the season, and are off that heartbreaking game that Carmine can agree with yesterday, that overtime loss to Pittsburgh last night. But they had the previous 3 days off. And if you take a look at their expected goal share on the season, it's a solid 50.26. This is a team that is playing better than their record, especially if you consider that they've already faced New Jersey twice, who I also said that I really like, and the defending champs. So I think Buffalo is a team that we can make some money on right now. Columbus has that one victory on the season against the winless Avalanche, a team that really has struggled coming out of the gate. They'll be there at the end, but right now it's the team that I'm not looking to play on, and that's the Avalanche. But they were just involved in a very emotional game in that building Tuesday against Florida. They really wanted that win to honor their fallen teammate, but come up a bit short. If you take a look at their advanced stats in that game, they dominated the game. They really wanted that game, and they still couldn't get the victory. That's got to be heartbreaking for this team. And now to come back and play again here and expect a victory against a Buffalo team who's better than their record, I don't think it's going to happen. When I take a look at my power ratings, I take a look at the teams that I'm looking to bet against. San Jose and Columbus, to me, are the 2 worst teams in the NHL, and we're getting a good price to go against Columbus here. I expect the host to be in for a slow start here after playing just once over the previous 4 days, where Buffalo has the advantage out of the gate, especially with blown leads fresh in their minds after last night. I like Buffalo in this game, and the line is priced very well. Give me Buffalo over Columbus tonight.
Getting on Carm's good side, eh, Brian?
I like it. We're going to let you promo for like 30 minutes. I think Dan would probably not agree with that. But
just put Steve Merrill on the show.
Put Steve Merrill on the show. Yes. The ultimate, he's fantastic with his. He can turn anything into a promo. But anyways, with that said, we cashed yesterday's best bets or show free play, whatever you want to call it, with Alex Tuck. I'm going to run it back. You had to lay minus 120 on Tuck yesterday, over 2.5 shots on goal. You have to lay minus 140 today. As he gets more output, that line is eventually going to go to he's going to be like 3.5, where the under is going to have a bit of juice on it. But he's a big part of this offense for the Buffalo Sabres. He's going to get pucks to the net, especially when he's out there with Tage, who had a good game yesterday despite the loss. So that's my show play. Alex Tuck over 2.5 shots, minus 140. Let's see if we can cash that. One play up in the NHL tonight. We cashed our 4% play last night. We have another 4% play up tonight. Unsure of whether I'll have a couple other plays. If I do, I'll add it to that package for you guys. NFL card will be up in a few minutes right after the show. And college football card and a 5% play are up for the weekend. The 5% play is in the MLS. It's decision day. College football, I have a 3-pack on Saturday, 11-0 with college football the last 3 Saturdays. We're going to try and keep that good run going. Andrew, give us a show best bet and close it out.
Carm, keep it going, man. You're rocking and rolling right now in football and in hockey, coming off a great night last night. Yeah, guys, that promo code, again, I'll mention it one more time. Save 50, takes $50 off a 30-day NHL pass. It's been a great run in the NHL to start the season off. Usually 1 or 2 plays per day, and that's about it. And the Vancouver Canucks will be a client play for me tonight. I did mention them earlier on in the show against Florida. It's going to be a tough matchup, but I do think Vancouver gets their first win of the season tonight. If you want more analysis, just rewind this video, rewind Puck Time. You can hear me talking about the game a little bit more. But thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. And again, you can find Bryan, you can find Carmine, myself, and every capper over at WagerTalk.com. Best of luck, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on Puck Time.